Chapter 1. Introducing Bavinck, a worthy follower of Jesus. Photographs of Herman Bavinck, whether the best-known formal headshot or the less familiar pose of the scholar sitting at a desk in his study, portray a serious, perhaps even stern man. Making allowances for the conventions of Victorian-era portraiture, the impression given by these photographs is clearly still that of a dedicated, determined, focused, no-nonsense man, one not likely given to frivolity or even leisure. Serious is the right word. One might even be forgiven for perpetuating a stereotypical image by describing him as a somber-looking Puritan. Familiarity with the secessionist Christian Reformed community his father, Jan, served as a minister, and in which young Herman was nurtured, would seem to confirm this judgment. It was a community that had separated itself from the national Dutch Reformed Church out of a double concern for doctrinal orthodoxy and proper worship. Like the Puritans, these devoted Jesus followers were passionate about purity of doctrine and holiness of life. Consequently, they were members of a marginalized community characterized by a certain level of flight from the world. One biographer of Bavinck used the term cultuurfeindelijkheid, a posture of hostility toward culture, to describe the character of the Bavinck home. Bavinck's childhood and lifelong friend, Henry Dosker, who emigrated to the United States and eventually became a professor at the Presbyterian Seminary of Kentucky in Louisville, shares this assessment in the following description of Herman's parents. I knew both the parents of Dr. Bavinck intimately. They were typical of their environment and cherished all the puritanical and often provincial ideas and ideals of the early church of the separation. Simple, almost austere in their mode of life, exhibiting something of what the Germans call cultuurfeindelijkheid, pious to the core, teaching their children more by example than by precept, the mother uncommonly clear-visioned in her ideas and never afraid to express them. The father, diffident, aroused only with difficulty, but then evincing rare power. Such were the parents of Dr. Herman Bavinck. The Bavinck home. In recent years, other biographers have disputed the claim that the Bavinck home was largely characterized by a separatist hostility to culture. These biographers appeal to the description of the family home given by one of Bavinck's own students, J. H. Lanver, shortly after Bavinck's death in 1921. Lanver took special note to defend the family from all accusations of legalism and moralism. A truly Christian spirit dominated in the house of the old pastor. One did not find there command upon command and rule upon rule, but, being bound to the word of the Lord, there was a Christian freedom that was pleasing to behold. This was the rule in the Bavinck home. Simplicity is the hallmark of that which is true. Another biographer surmises that Valentine Hepp may have confused this simplicity for cultural hostility and failed to see it as the way those who are genuinely civilized from within express themselves. The questions that face us here: what was the Bavinck home really like? Did its simplicity indicate hostility to all culture or only to certain aspects of Dutch 19th century culture? Did the absence of all legalism suggest a degree of openness to the good aspects of culture? All these questions and more need not, and likely cannot, be answered with a simple yes or no. Bavinck's close friend Dosker finds him to be something of a riddle. I will admit at once that in some respects, viewed from the standpoint of his parentage, Dr. Bavinck is a conundrum. He was so like and yet so absolutely unlike his parents. As Dosker proceeds with a brief description of the elder Bavinck, however, it appears that the father also exhibited characteristics that give evidence of his own ambivalence on the matters of piety and culture.